In a revelation that's sending shockwaves through Washington, evidence is mounting that former President Donald Trump and Russian President Vladimir Putin may be involved in an alleged secret pact to influence the 2024 U.S. election. This script could delve into alleged secret meetings, explosive documents, and hypothetical conversations that supposedly show the two working together to sway American politics. It could follow a narrative of hidden motives, potential spy networks, and suspicions around global influence as well as warnings from political insiders. It could even discuss the fallout if such a collaboration came to light, with statements from analysts suggesting how this would impact the 2024 election, Trump's campaign, and international relations. In the aftermath of the alleged Pact revelations, the media landscape erupted into a frenzy, with both major networks and independent outlets vying to interpret the possible implications. Speculation mounted, with commentators suggesting that such an arrangement, if real, could fundamentally alter international relations. The speculation surrounding this news created a fog of uncertainty, especially for those undecided voters who began to question the reliability of their choices in an increasingly polarized environment. Political analysts quickly drew comparisons to similar historical alliances, speculating on how previous back-channel arrangements impacted elections in subtle but undeniable ways. As the supposed pact between Trump and Putin continued to stir up speculation, social media became a battleground. Users on both sides of the political aisle engaged in heated debates, while prominent influencers weighed in with their own theories and critiques. Talk of the pact trended across platforms, with countless threads dissecting every possible angle. Media outlets quickly assembled panels of experts to analyze the potential ramifications of such an arrangement, with the general public left wondering how deep the implications might truly run. Meanwhile, polling numbers began to shift, reflecting the public's uncertainty about the alleged alliance. Political commentators speculated that if this were to sway voters, it could create a shockwave through the upcoming election. Both parties ramped up their campaigns, with Trump's team scrambling to refute the rumors while his opposition seized the moment to gain an edge. As the days passed, the narrative only seemed to intensify, with new rumors and theories emerging almost daily. At political rallies, the issue became a central talking point. Candidates from both parties addressed the alleged pact with strong words, either condemning the accusations or brushing them off as baseless. Voters watched intently, awaiting more concrete evidence or statements from the candidates involved. The question lingered: would these allegations permanently alter the course of the election? The international response added further complexity to the unfolding drama. Allies and adversaries alike voiced concerns over the supposed alliance, with some nations vowing to increase their scrutiny of the U.S. election process. European leaders, in particular, expressed apprehension over what they viewed as potential foreign interference in democratic practices, calling for transparency and vigilance. Back in the United States, political satire programs began producing skits poking fun at the pact rumors. Late-night hosts dissected the allegations with humor, while political cartoonists captured the essence of the scandal in biting illustrations. The public, torn between outrage and disbelief, consumed this media voraciously, further fueling the discussions online and offline. In the weeks that followed, investigative journalists undertook deep dives into the claims, producing multi-part series exploring every nuance. Interviews with anonymous sources and so-called insiders fed into the public's fascination, and nightly news segments dedicated to the pact captured the country's collective attention. As discussions surrounding Trump and Putin's alleged election pact continued, each revelation sent a ripple through both political and public spheres. Political analysts speculated on the impact this could have on the election, and headlines spurred on theories of secret strategies, covert meetings, and undisclosed promises. Public sentiment appeared polarized, with one side deeply alarmed by potential foreign alliances, while the other dismissed the claims as political theater. Mainstream media further fueled the conversation, with segments that interviewed former diplomats, cyber experts, and former intelligence officers. Public forums and social media platforms became stages for intense debates, conspiracy theories, and interpretations of international diplomacy, as each day brought new claims. High-profile journalists and pundits dissected statements from both camps, weighing in on implications for national security and foreign policy if these claims held any truth. The topic escalated as talk shows and opinion columns picked apart the motives of each side. The phrase shadow diplomacy quickly became a trending topic, reflecting suspicions about behind-the-scenes strategies shaping the election. As the story developed, opposition parties called for investigations, citing the need for transparency in the electoral process. Calls for election monitoring grew, with some advocating for tighter cybersecurity measures and oversight committees. Public opinion polls began to reflect rising concerns, showing the alleged pact's growing influence on voters' decisions. Various think tanks released reports, adding historical context to foreign alliances in politics and their impact on global relations. Experts questioned whether the current political environment was more susceptible to foreign influence or merely more aware of it. Some drew parallels to previous election controversies, suggesting that these rumors were symptomatic of deeper issues in national trust and transparency. Across the country, grassroots organizations emerged, seeking to address public apprehension around electoral integrity. Rally slogans and campaign advertisements intensified in tone, as each side tried to rally their supporters in light of the alleged partnership. The possibility of clandestine political deals became a major talking point, weaving its way into conversations at workplaces, classrooms, and family gatherings. As debates continued, voters and pundits speculated on how these accusations might affect policy decisions if the elections were indeed influenced. Nationalist factions were particularly vocal, emphasizing the need for autonomy in decision-making and framing the alleged alliance as a threat to sovereignty. The notion of a Trump-Putin election pact stirs a wave of passionate debates, causing political circles to buzz with speculation. Pundits on all major networks scrutinize each purported leak, as the details become murkier and more sensational by the day. Some allege that secret deals were made during a closed-door meeting that set the foundation for a coordinated strategy, purportedly aimed at reshaping the U.S. political landscape. This supposed alliance, if true, could influence not only the outcome of the election but also U.S. international relationships. Experts ponder the profound implications for NATO allies, who might view the pact as a shift in U.S. loyalty and a dangerous pivot towards foreign interests. As diplomats discuss potential repercussions, alliances are being questioned and messages of solidarity sought to counteract any weakening of traditional ties. On social media, influencers and commentators share their theories, with many posts going viral. Users quickly adopt hashtags such as #SecretPact2024 and #ElectionAlliance, sparking further conversation and speculation. These posts garner massive engagement, polarizing the nation as supporters and skeptics clash over interpretations and implications, bringing the topic to every corner of online spaces. Across the nation, town hall meetings see an unusual rise in attendance, as citizens seek answers from their representatives about the validity of these claims. Congresspersons are faced with difficult questions as they try to maintain public trust amid the ongoing storm of media coverage and accusations. The possibility of a secret agreement puts many representatives in an uncomfortable position, particularly as they weigh national interests against maintaining strong ties with their base. Investigative journalists dig deeper, hunting for any scrap of evidence that might substantiate the allegations. Some claim they have sources close to the situation who verify that covert discussions did indeed take place. These unnamed sources fuel the fire of speculation, leading some news organizations to cautiously report on the allegations, while others dismiss them as little more than political posturing. Political analysts debate the impact of such rumors, suggesting that even if unfounded, the narrative alone could sway undecided voters. The psychological impact on the electorate becomes a focal point of discussion, with some arguing that persistent suggestions of foreign influence could plant seeds of doubt in voters' minds, ultimately affecting the election outcome by eroding confidence in the democratic process. At the heart of the discussion lies the question of loyalty, with critics questioning whether U.S. interests are being sidelined in favor of foreign influence. This possibility raises concerns about what a shift towards foreign-aligned policies might entail for the average American. As citizens voice their concerns, a renewed sense of patriotism sweeps through various communities, with people calling for greater scrutiny and oversight. In Washington, lobbyists for defense, cybersecurity, and intelligence agencies seize the moment to push for stricter regulations and expanded powers. Some even propose creating new governmental bodies to monitor foreign influences in U.S. elections. These proposals lead to contentious hearings as lawmakers argue over the ethical and practical implications of such drastic measures. Meanwhile, cable news debates erupt as talk show hosts present contrasting views on the pact. Some suggest that it's all part of a greater geopolitical strategy, while others dismiss it as a wild conspiracy theory. Each show provides a different spin, keeping viewers on edge and further blurring the lines between fact and speculation. Candidates in the race shift their campaign messaging in response to the unfolding narrative. One side argues for the need to restore true American values in light of these allegations, while the other calls for a focus on strong leadership amid the swirling controversy. Rally speeches become more intense, drawing larger crowds eager to see how the candidates address the issue. Public opinion polls capture a growing division among voters. Those who believe in the allegations see them as a clear indicator of betrayal, while those who dismiss them as fiction become more determined to defend their candidate. Analysts argue that this split could result in one of the most unpredictable elections in recent history, as trust becomes a central issue. Amid all the media noise, international reactions emerge, with allies voicing concerns about the stability of U.S. leadership. Foreign leaders hint at potential shifts in their alliances should the allegations prove true, further emphasizing the global ramifications. This additional pressure causes unease among U.S. officials who strive to reassure international partners of America's steadfast commitment. In the background, cybersecurity experts warn of the possibility of disinformation campaigns, suggesting that both domestic and foreign actors may be amplifying the controversy to destabilize the U.S. electoral process. Their warnings are a sobering reminder of the vulnerability of digital media in shaping public perception and the need for digital literacy among voters. As the election approaches, pressure mounts on intelligence agencies to investigate. Rumors circulate that there may be plans to release a report addressing the allegations. However, sources claim that high-ranking officials are divided on whether doing so would be responsible or would simply add fuel to an already raging fire. Rumors of an imminent report leak grip the nation, with citizens waiting anxiously for any sign of validation or refutation. Politicians across the spectrum are quick to issue statements that either dismiss the allegations as preposterous or warn of dire consequences if they're proven true. Each new headline adds to the tension, casting a long shadow over the upcoming election. In coffee shops, homes, and online forums, citizens discuss what they would do if they found out their candidate had indeed forged foreign alliances. Many express feelings of betrayal, while others argue that the end justifies the means. These debates illustrate the moral complexities that voters now grapple with, as personal loyalties and national interests collide. As tension grows, educational institutions and advocacy groups conduct seminars and webinars on the impact of foreign influence in elections. Some speakers, including former intelligence officials, emphasize the importance of protecting democratic processes. These events serve as a rallying cry for those concerned about preserving the sanctity of the election, even amid controversy. Election day nears, and pollsters are baffled by the fluctuating numbers. Analysts attribute the swings to voters' mixed feelings about the allegations, showing how deeply the narrative has impacted decision-making. The election promises to be a pivotal moment, with some predicting it will be a referendum on trust in U.S. politics. As Election Day draws near, public curiosity about the alleged Trump-Putin pact reaches a fever pitch. Every detail surrounding the supposed pact is dissected, with some voters wondering how the outcome might be shaped by such an alliance. Town hall discussions and virtual forums overflow with questions, highlighting the public's concern about potential foreign influence over American politics. Independent investigative journalists publish bombshell articles on underground forums, claiming they have access to insider information, detailing secret meetings and cryptic communications between foreign operatives. Though the authenticity of these articles is debated, they fuel even greater curiosity and unease among the American electorate. Readers scour every detail, analyzing possible motives and drawing their own conclusions. In response, Trump's campaign team scrambles to deny the allegations, releasing public statements dismissing them as baseless fabrications meant to distract voters from real issues. Each new denial, however, only seems to ignite more public interest, as citizens interpret the team's quick responses as suspicious. For some, the frequent denials suggest there may be more to the story. Meanwhile, the opposition seizes the opportunity to mobilize supporters, rallying against what they paint as a blatant disregard for democratic values. Campaign ads emphasize the need to restore integrity to the American political system, urging voters to stand against foreign influence. They appeal to patriotic sentiment, presenting this election as a choice between national independence and potential foreign manipulation. Political action committees, PACs, on both sides produce compelling, emotionally charged ads, each one more dramatic than the last. They highlight the stakes involved, presenting voters with apocalyptic visions of what could happen if the election falls under foreign influence. These ads depict ominous visuals and stirring soundtracks, warning viewers that this election could determine the fate of democracy itself. Poll watchers and advocacy groups prepare for Election Day with a renewed focus on transparency and security. New protocols and security measures are introduced to safeguard the voting process. Some voters, however, remain skeptical, questioning whether these efforts will be enough to prevent foreign interference or mitigate the impact of a supposed alliance that has already set plans in motion. Legal experts begin publishing articles on the constitutional implications of a foreign alliance involving a presidential candidate. They examine historical precedents, analyzing past legal interpretations of foreign interference and how these might apply to the current situation. Some suggest that, should any proof of the pact emerge, it could lead to calls for an unprecedented electoral review or legislative action. Activist groups amplify the legal debate, staging protests calling for further investigation into the pact allegations. Across major cities, demonstrators gather with signs reading, "Protect our democracy" and "No foreign deals in America." These protests gain traction, drawing the attention of both media and lawmakers, while reinforcing the seriousness with which some voters view the situation. Influential thought leaders issue public statements urging calm, emphasizing the importance of facts over speculation. They caution against allowing unverified claims to dictate public opinion, stressing the need for due process and thorough investigations. For many voters, these calls for patience are reassuring, though for others, they serve as a reminder of the lack of transparency in government processes. A wave of opinion polls reflects the divided response to the alleged Trump-Putin pact. While some voters are adamant in their belief that the pact is a fabrication, a growing number feel it warrants further scrutiny. This split in public opinion puts pressure on both campaigns to address voter concerns more directly, especially as the polls indicate that trust in political institutions is at an all-time low. As Election Day approaches, media coverage becomes increasingly polarized. News outlets provide contrasting takes on the pact allegations, with some questioning the motives behind the rumors and others delving into every hypothetical scenario. Each news segment adds layers to the story, creating a complex narrative that leaves voters uncertain of the truth. Political strategists on both sides adjust their tactics in response to the pact allegations, with each side using the controversy to rally their base. The alleged alliance between Trump and Putin becomes the centerpiece of campaign messaging, with speeches and ads focusing on issues of loyalty, transparency, and patriotism. The debate over foreign influence takes on a life of its own, leaving voters with new questions as they head to the polls. In Washington, intelligence agencies continue to analyze every bit of information they can find related to the alleged pact. Pressure mounts as both politicians and the public demand answers, yet officials remain cautious, aware that any misstep could further inflame an already tense political environment. Behind closed doors, high-level meetings are held to determine the best course of action. Across social media platforms, the hashtag #StopThePact trends, with users voicing their disapproval of any potential foreign influence. Viral posts from activists, influencers, and everyday citizens condemn the idea of a foreign pact, urging voters to stand against perceived corruption. The hashtag serves as a rallying cry, further polarizing an already divided electorate. Celebrities weigh in on the controversy, using their platforms to either denounce the alleged pact or call for calm until concrete evidence is provided. Their involvement only amplifies public interest, with millions following their statements and opinions. Some hold live-stream discussions, inviting political experts to shed light on the implications of such an alliance. The concept of a foreign pact becomes a focal point of academic debate, with universities holding forums and seminars discussing foreign influence in elections. Professors and students alike dive into the historical context, drawing parallels to past events while theorizing about future political impacts. For many, these discussions highlight the importance of election integrity in maintaining a stable democratic society. Campaign rallies continue with an undercurrent of tension as candidates directly address the controversy. Some candidates vow to protect American interests from foreign interference, while others call for accountability and transparency in government. Each speech reflects the pervasive anxiety surrounding the election, making it clear that the alleged pact has become a defining issue for voters. Think tanks produce detailed reports examining the long-term impact of foreign influence on democratic institutions. They argue that even unsubstantiated allegations can have lasting effects on public trust, suggesting that such rumors can be as damaging as actual interference. The reports propose new measures to counter potential foreign alliances, emphasizing the need for preventive policies. Amid the national debate, grassroots organizations increase their efforts to educate voters on the electoral process. They host workshops on spotting misinformation, encouraging voters to stay informed and skeptical of unverified claims. Their goal is to empower citizens to make decisions based on facts, countering the influence of rumors and speculation. On the eve of the election, opinion polls reveal a country divided not only by ideology but also by belief in the alleged Trump-Putin pact. Some voters, influenced by the swirling rumors, are uncertain about the integrity of the election. Others remain resolute, determined to exercise their right to vote regardless of any alleged plots. The sense of division underscores the high stakes of this election.